Economist on proposed salary hikes for PM, others. It can be afforded. A former deputy central bank governor is voicing the unpopular opinion that the salaries of the president, prime minister, opposition leader, and others should be increased. Economist Dr. Terence Farrell says while there's much criticism of the proposed figures in the Salaries Review Commission's (SRC) report laid in Parliament on Friday, the wage hike is long overdue. Your top echelon of your people, the people who are the best qualified, most competent people. Your permanent secretaries are running a ministry with thousands of people inside of it responsible for budgets of hundreds of millions of dollars, and you want to pay them $35,000 a month? It's ridiculous. Quite frankly, it is ridiculous, he stressed. Despite Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley in September telling the nation to hold the fort as this year until the second quarter of 2027 will be a period of difficulty, Farrell does not think the country is unable to pay its high-ranking public officials more money. Of course, it can be afforded, The Economist said in a telephone interview with Guardian Media yesterday. The reason why it can be afforded is because the number of people who are in that position who are under the purview of the Salaries Review Commission is a small number of people, about 100 and something people. It's not a lot of people. But the public service is 80,000, he said, referencing the government's decision to offer 4% to public sector workers during the collective bargaining period. Acknowledging that his comments may earn him the population's ire, Farrell clarified that he does not disagree with people's objections to the increase in principle, as he understands that the optics don't seem fair. Obviously, for them, government, to accept the Salaries Review Commission's recommendations and implement it would at this juncture be a slap in the face for the entire public service. That is absolutely true. But I would say that stepping back from that, we have to change the philosophy of the whole question of the management of the public service, of ministerial responsibility and accountability, and in that context, there is absolutely no reason why all the people under the Salaries Review Commission should not have substantial increases in their compensation to be comparable to what is obtained in the private sector, he said. Farrell added that it can be vexing to be offered 4% while the opposition leader's salary can go up by 76%. However, he maintained that the hike is necessary and suggested that a performance management scheme be created to ensure value for money. If I'm paying you a certain level of compensation, then I also want to have performance. So, this notion of a career public servant where you have employment for life and until you retire and get a pension and so on also has to go out of the window. I am quite prepared to double the salary of a permanent secretary, but if you don't perform, then you go home. You're fired. The former deputy central bank governor said this latest incident speaks to the importance of public service reform. He said these officials ought to be paid fairly, based on the tremendous responsibility they bear, and then we turn around and we want to pay them peanuts because of how it will look, he quipped. What good for government? Good for public servants, too? Meanwhile, Michael Anisette, President General of the Seamen and Waterfront Workers Trade Union, SWWTU, and General Secretary of the National Trade Union Center, NATUC, said union members will deal with the SRC proposal in the coming days. We will come up with a strategic and effective way to make our voices heard. Rest assured, because we are in a battle with the government. He said the SWWTU has argued for a 12% pay increase for port workers and 9% for NIB workers. The government has offered 4% over 6 years. The same principle must apply to the government. What is good for the government should be good for public servants, so we should get the same increases. Anisette said the government should only get an increase based on their performance, so there would be an accountability mechanism. He said there was a wide salary gap for public servants in TNT. Calls to oil field workers Trade Union Chief Education and Research Officer Otzi Warwick went unanswered. Salaries around the region. In May last year, Jamaicans took to the streets in protest over proposed pay hikes for parliamentarians. Under the Public Sector Compensation Review conducted the year prior, Prime Minister Andrew Holness's salary was expected to be increased from Jamaican $9.16 million to $28.5 million per year. This amounts to 391,465 Trinidad and Tobago dollars and 87 cents or $57,504 and 93 cents annually. However, amid public pressure, Holness declined to take the salary increase. Meanwhile, Jamaica's Governor General, who is on par with TNT's president, was set to receive just over $34 million per year. This is equivalent to 1,453,039 Trinidad and Tobago dollars and 24 cents, or $213,446 US dollars and 23 cents. The Governor General was previously paid just over $12 million, an almost 200% increase in salary that will move his publicly funded income to just over $34 million per year. Jamaica's Chief Justice was set to receive the same amount as the Governor General, while the opposition leader would have been paid $25,729,103. This is 1,098,326 Trinidad and Tobago dollars and 72 cents, or 161,340 US dollars and 24 cents. Their salary hikes were approved and accepted. In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, according to their estimates of revenue and expenditure for 2024, the Prime Minister was in line to receive $164,542 East Caribbean dollars per year. This is equivalent to $TT 414 for 68.84, or 60,883 US dollars and 98 cents for the same period. The Governor General was expected to receive $130,347 East Caribbean dollars a year, or $TT 328, 334, or 48,231 US dollars and 12 cents. SVG merged its Chief Justice with the Supreme Court of the Eastern Caribbean, but its Chief Magistrate is meant to earn $127,644 East Caribbean dollars a year, or $10,637, 321,525 Trinidad and Tobago dollars and 57 cents, which is equivalent to 47,230 US dollars and 95 cents. The island's opposition leader also earns $EC 107,812 per year. This is 271,570 Trinidad and Tobago dollars and 26 cents a year, or 39,892 US dollars and 69 cents. Based on the SRC report, PM Rowley is expected to get $87,847 a month and more than $1 million in back pay. The opposition leader should receive $52,159 a month and more than $900,000 in back pay. The president should receive $81,170 a month and the Chief Justice $60,919. Efforts yesterday to contact Prime Minister Rowley for his thoughts on the proposed salary increase proved futile. The opposition leader Kamla Persibasessor has also not responded to calls or messages about the proposal.